Hey ladies, as you can see, I'm hiding in my car right now because, well, you ladies know, you know why. You're probably the one group I do not have to explain as to why I'm hiding in my car to do this. But just wanted to check in and ask how you guys are all doing. Such a strange time we are living in. And if you're like me, then your emotions seem to change day by day, sometimes hour by hour. It's like 1 minute I'm loving having everyone home and I'm like, oh, come on, group hug. And the next day I'm like, get out of the house, please. Please go outside. And I'm commanding everybody to get out of the house. 1 minute I'm like, oh, this is going to be a good day. Like, I got this. We got this. And the next day I'm like elbow deep in chips and I don't got this. I do not got this. Help me, Jesus. You know, and it just is what it is right now. And maybe you guys can relate. I'm sure you can. But when we planned this theme, Home Sweet Home, almost a year ago, obviously we had no idea what was to come, but God did. He knew that this was going to come. And I really think he chose this theme for us purposefully because he knew that we would be spending a lot of time in our home, sweet homes, with our loved ones, our family, and sweet kiddos all the live long day. So we just want to let you know we haven't forgotten about you ladies or this sweet ministry. We I guess we just wanted to give you a little word of encouragement as you wake up each morning, another morning in quarantine, another morning of not leaving your house or seeing your friends or just running to Target if you're like me. You know, what kind of home do you have right now? Is it chaotic? Because that's okay. Is it totally untidy? Because that's okay too. But more importantly, what is the feeling? What is the feeling that your kids feel in your home right now? And I was thinking, since this year we were walking through room by room, learning different things about each room of our home, what a perfect time to actually do this, but through prayer. So to go into your son's room and sit on his bed and pray for that little boy to grow to be a man of God, to grow up to be strong in his convictions and his faith, to walk down to your kitchen table when all your children are in bed, to sit at the table and pray that the Lord would protect your family from the things of this world, that the Lord would gather you together for many years to come, that you would have lots of wonderful, intentional conversations and memories around that kitchen table, to walk up to your daughter's room, maybe grab one of her stuffed animals and pray for that sweet girl. Pray that the Lord would grow her up, knowing who she belongs to, that she is the daughter of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, that she would grow to be a woman of purity and of make good decisions, and that she would find her worth and her value in the Lord. To go to that master bedroom and pray for your marriage, pray for your husband, or maybe walk out to the garage, sit in his car and pray for your husband. Ask the Lord to help him to be the leader that God would like him to be in his home and with his family. And maybe to ask the Lord to show you the ways or the attitudes that you need to change to allow him to do that. So I was thinking, I'm going to do this. What a great time to do this. And yeah, we just want to encourage you. We don't know, obviously, when we will be back together. But just use this time. Use this time the Lord has given us. I know it's crazy. There's a lot of anxiety and uncertain things, but there is good to be found. And he really has this time for a reason. So use it to the fullest. Give yourself grace. And, soon it will just be a memory. Our kids will be back to school. They'll be running out the door to go play at their neighbor's house, and it'll all be just a memory. So we now have the privilege of hearing from Gail. She prepared a message for us actually a couple months ago that she never got to share. So be blessed and enjoy her message, and we will hopefully see you ladies sooner than later. Bye.
Hi, Time Out Moms. Um, I just wanted to come on here, and I've never done this before, so I had to find a little spot in my house. So I'm in my basement because we've got tests being taken in different areas of the room and full house and lots going on, and everyone kind of needing their space. So I thought I'd just kind of retreat down here and maybe just offer a little encouragement and share a little message. Melissa and Vicky had asked if I would just share a little bit about what I prepared maybe a couple months ago before we kind of had to stop meeting for time out. So I thought I'd just condense it a little bit and still stick with our theme. It's nice to maybe offer a little inspiration, but know that an inspirational message doesn't take place of us being in the Word and continuing to watch your churches and your pastors have put out there and videos and all the effort they take, because it doesn't replace being in the Word and still hearing the messages from the Word. But today I'm just going to share a little bit about the topic was enjoying every stage of motherhood. That was our topic, and we were kind of going through the rooms in the house. And so my room happened to be the Four Seasons room, which was kind of interesting because I don't know many people who have a Four Seasons room. I would say, other than my mom and my dad, but they're in Florida, so the season always seemed to be summer. So I'm not sure, but it was the seasons of a mother's life is kind of the little bit of the topic, and how to enjoy every season. I even kind of thought, is it enjoying or is it enduring? Sometimes it's maybe just embracing where you're at and what season you're in. The verse that we would have shared with you and that I'll just share is from Ecclesiastes 3:1. And that's, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. So I thought, it's a secret to enjoying that, to enjoying the seasons and the timing. And I thought it's kind of about discovering, accepting, and then even appreciating God's timing. Because I think sometimes that's where our struggles come in. When it's hard to accept things that aren't well in the seasons, and it's even hard to appreciate sometimes when things aren't well. And even we don't always take the time to discover what God's teaching me in this season that I'm in. So I know that as moms, we're all in different seasons of motherhood. When we're at time out, I see that. I see that some of you are in almost several seasons at the same time, because you have young kids and you have school agers, and now some of you even have teenagers. I have two young adults now, so I'm in a whole new season in my life. But there's different challenges. We even see that when we just go to start our families, or we even think about starting our families, or maybe some of us didn't expect to start families so soon, to have a baby or to be pregnant. But even in that season, it's such a journey. There's challenges, there's so many emotions. For some of us, it came with lots of waiting. Some of us, it came with loss or disappointment. And then there's some things were unexpected. Maybe it wasn't quite the pregnancy you thought you were going to have, or what that was going to look like, or even in the beginning, or maybe there was infertility. There's so many different things already just in that season alone, that I think for most of us, we can even look back and see God was already doing something for us as mothers in that season of waiting, or even not waiting. Like I said, for some, it maybe was faster or more unexpected than we thought, and we weren't prepared yet to start our families. And then there's even the season of having babies and infants. And I think sometimes in that season we can feel like we're just on this repeat cycle. It can get kind of I think there's thoughts always of, what am I accomplishing? What am I doing when we have our babies and our infants? And there's sometimes a loss of ourselves in that season as a mom, and you can't go back. And it's not that we want to, but things are just different and things have changed. And definitely with babies and infants, it can be so overwhelming at times. And that could just be a whole nother season in our lives. And sometimes that's hard to continue to see and appreciate where we're at. And then we even have the school age kids. That's I just see so many moms, school age kids that are just, I think the word they use often is busy. They're busy. Sometimes they're spent. They might, you may, for you guys, you have babies now, and you have toddlers, and you have school agers. Many of you have larger families, so I know the range of kids is so vast, and you're almost in like a couple seasons at a time in your motherhood, doing different things or repeating things. And sometimes that there's an appreciation for your subsequent kids after your first kids, because you can appreciate that God's giving you the knowledge and the patience and some of the grace to go through some of these things. And then as your kids get to be teenagers, oh, it's just the challenges are just, they're different and they're bigger. You look back and you see, wow, some of the things that were challenges when you had babies and toddlers, um, just almost don't compare. And it's not that they're not more important, it's just where you're at in that season. And now you move on to another season, and God just keeps building on that. When we're moms, He builds on our seasons, and He adds some things and He takes some things away. And as they get to be teens and young adults, I'm finding, the challenges are bigger. But it's a season where you really reflect on the things that God has taught you along the way. And that's okay and that's good, because it really does give you some confidence and some hope. And even in that, sometimes with your kids, when they get a little older, there's just bigger disappointments that you walk them through. But I think as you walk through seasons, you start to grow and you're able to help your kids walk through seasons as they get older too. And God equips us for that. He doesn't just call us to this motherhood and leave us hanging. I mean, He's there for us, and that's something that we discover. We discover where our relationship with the Lord really lies in these seasons of motherhood, and He shows us where we need to accept things and move on. And He even shows us how to appreciate things in those seasons too. And then while we're in the season of motherhood, there's oftentimes, for most of us, there's other seasons with that. And it can be illness for ourselves or a family member. Sometimes it's just transition. It can be jobs for us, our husbands, transition in our homes. Sometimes it's just our marriage. Sometimes our marriages as moms, while we're in the season of motherhood, we're also in a season in our marriage that might be challenging or difficult. So sometimes we have seasons that overlap other seasons. And sometimes it's our extended family too, that where we feel pulled or tried as we're still navigating being a mom. So sometimes we have seasons upon seasons. And sometimes we're waiting to get to the next season. And so often we might miss out on some of the memories that are being made along the way. And it's great when we're in a season where we don't want it to end. Those are good times. Those are times where we do appreciate and we do enjoy the seasons that we're in. So some ways that I can encourage how we enjoy the seasons that we're in, and how we can discover and accept and even appreciate where we're at. And I would start with comparison. Comparison really is the thief of joy. So as moms, we do it naturally. We compare ourselves to other moms, to the world out there, to what we see, what we hear. And even social media, we know in our culture, those images just lead us to false expectations of what motherhood is really supposed to be like and what it really looks like. So I think that that comes with a lot of disappointment often for us. And so I would just, my encouragement would be to not compare, to stop comparing, because God called you to be the mother to your children. And we can't compare, because that wouldn't even be right, because we are all different and our families look different, and that's okay and that's good. I would say another encouragement would be that we have to do the hard things. We really do. And anything that's worth having is difficult. And to not give up. And when I say to do the hard things, we have to do the hard things. We have to discipline. We have to, guess what, be in the Word ourselves. And that sounds funny that that's a hard thing, but I know I've talked with you, mom, and I've seen young moms, and it is difficult. It's easier for me now because I guess I have more time, and maybe I've learned and I've grown in that. But it's challenging as a young mom. But that is a hard thing. But we need to do that because it's what wait is going to wait for us on the other side. And another hard thing that sometimes we have challenges with as a mom is focusing on our home. And that really is our priority and should be when we're a mom and raising kids. Even now as my girls are young adults, my time is different, and God has grown me, to see where I can now focus other time and energy. But right now, for I would say most of you moms with young kids at home and even school age, that's still young. And the teens, they're still kind of young. But it is to focus on your home. And sometimes it's hard because we want other things, and it's good to have extra activities and ministries, but not if it compromises or it takes away from our home. And so I guess that would be my encouragement, that when there's hard things to do, we have to do those things. And then I would say focus on Christ, um, that we never give up, and that in the hard times, to know that He created you for this and He's called you for this, and that we don't lose sight of that. I would also say to show yourself grace. Just yesterday, it was kind of interesting. I talked to another young mom, and she has a 7-month-old new mom. She was nursing her baby, and her husband, they were just laying in their bed, and he got up to take a shower, and she fell asleep. And the baby kind of tumbled with some of the blankets towards the bed and off the bed. And her husband came out, and it really scared her. And she was so hard on herself as she was sharing this with me, and she was crying. And man, what I could just share with her was just to have grace for yourself. You're a new mom. She was tired. The baby was completely safe. Everything was fine, but it might take her time to move on past that. But mothering isn't easy. It's a tough task, but you're equipped. So I just say, don't be hard on yourselves. I've seen you moms at timeout, and oh my goodness, if I could have been half in the place where so many of you ladies are already, just raising your kiddos, you're doing a good job. So don't be too hard on yourself. And then the last one I was going to share too is that this too shall pass. So if you're in a season and you're thinking, boy, this is long, it does pass. And there are glimmers of hope and of just just enjoyment and blessings, many blessings. And that gives us hope, knowing that things don't last forever. Just as the seasons change in nature, they change in our lives and in motherhood too. And this is just maybe remind you to savor the journey and remember the moments in the seasons, because they go quick. And then sometimes you go back and there's some things that I would even say sometimes I think, well, I wish I would have enjoyed that a little bit more. And sometimes I was more concerned with the season moving on and moving into the next season. But I would just like to, in conclusion here, ladies, just share with you that you're the best mother for your children. And to know that, ladies, you were born to be their mother. And that was all in God's plan. So I just want to hope you're having a blessed day in your home. And that I would just pray that you're enjoying the season that you're in. And if you're not, that you would just be able to lean on the Lord, to trust Him where you're at, and to just maybe think about some of the things, and hope this gives you a little bit of encouragement. I'd like to pray as I close. So I'd like to do that for you, Gail, for you moms there at home, especially during this time. Oh Lord, I'd just like to pray and ask that these moms don't forget that you have gifted them with strong spirits, and that they're capable to move through these seasons, Lord, and even enjoy them, Lord, because there is joy to be found, Lord, even when we feel stuck. And whenever they feel they can't take another step, Lord, just remind them to find their strength in you, and to let them know that there's no such thing as being just a mom. They are so worthy and so capable, Lord. And boy, these late women moms are just an inspiration even to me. So I thank you, and I pray that you would just bless them, especially in this special extra time they have with their kiddos. So bye, moms.